Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the October DRP. This meeting this evening is actually only entertaining a review of one item on the agenda, and that is a re-review of 949 Delaney Valley Road, which is the Whiting Turner headquarters. So the panel did review this project at the September meeting, and there were some conditions significant enough that the panel wanted to see the package again before rendering a recommendation of approval to the county. So with that being said, since it is a re-review, for the presenters, I would just ask that you keep to the salient points of the conditions, but I'm going to hand it over to Donald now. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. First, we need to introduce the various panel members that are with us tonight. My name is Donald Can, and I'll be the acting chair this evening. For the various panel members that are here, when I call your name, just say aye, please. Mr. Sharma.
Aye.
Mr. Stevens.
Aye.
Mr. Walters.
Aye.
Very good, thank you. So we do have a quorum to conduct business this evening. The minutes of the last meeting, and all of you were here from the panel, were sent around. Are there any changes to the minutes that were sent out, or would someone like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Very good. Now let me read to you what we need to read to as an opening statement that we need to have on the record for the county. Title 4, Subtitle 2, Part 1, Sections 32.4-203 and 32.4-204 establish the Design Review Panel. The DRP was established to encourage design excellence and shall act in a consulting and advisory capacity to the agencies involved in the process for reviewing development plans. The objectives for the DOP assessment include spatial, visual, and functioning relationship to the topographical characteristics, the natural and built features of the site, as well as surrounding features of the site, visual and functional integration of streetscapes, pedestrian pathways, playgrounds, recreational amenities, and parks. Streets and sidewalks are laid out in a safe and convenient manner, and parking is a positive design element. Building, parking garages, and other structures are spatially and visually integrated and suitable to their surroundings in proportion, massing, and type of materials and colors. Signage and other elements of urban design. The plant materials are selected and cited to define the site, provide a theme, frame a view, enhance architecture and street character, improve microclimate, provide transition between dissimilar uses, screen objectionable views and uses, and reduce noise levels and glare. In carrying out its duties, the DRP utilizes the guidelines, plans, and architectural principles in the comprehensive manual development policies and/or master plan, as well as other guidelines and regulations adopted into law. Certain areas of the county were designated by the county council to require review by the DRP. The panel will provide a technical review of the proposed projects. Issues relative to zoning, setback relief, environmental and stormwater management, and traffic regulations do not fall under the purview of the DRP and are regulated through the appropriate agencies responsible for those aspects of the development plan review process. The panel consists of 9 members, all are professionals with practical knowledge in the matters of design. For purposes of making recommendations on a particular project, 3 members shall constitute a quorum. The attendance and comments of each member shall be recorded in the minutes, which shall be an open record and available along with all documents submitted to the panel for inspection and copying by the public. There will be an opportunity for the community to offer comments and suggestions at the conclusion of the applicant's presentation. These comments will also be included in the written record of the meeting. When a speaker is called up to speak, please keep your comments focused on design perspectives within your allotted 2 minutes time. If you're speaking on behalf of a community group, you will get 5 minutes. At the conclusion of the meeting, the Department of Planning will sum up the recommendations of the panel before a motion for a vote is suggested. Recent legislation has changed the panel's recommendations to be advisory on the hearing officer and the various county agencies, unless the hearing officer or agencies find that the panel's actions constitute an abuse of its discretion or unsupported by the documentation and evidence presented. Disposition of the plan will be determined, as we've always discussed, as either approved with conditions, or additional review with a second meeting is required. So reading that and understanding this project sort of touches every one of those things we just talked about. But it is important to have that on the record. So we are going to focus, as we heard at the outset, on 940 line Delaney Valley Road to discuss the presentation around Whiting Turner's new headquarters building in Towson. I guess the question is, first, do we have anyone interested in speaking or signed up to speak from the public?
So we may get somebody to put in the chat. Actually, Ms. Snop just said she'd like to speak. So when the presentation is
Okay, well,
finished.
why don't we should hold off on that. I think the first order of business is to have the presenters present themselves and provide us with information. My mistake. So let's do that first.
Yes. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Not yet.
Yes.
Okay. Whoever's starting, you may take it away.
I'll just start. So I'm Nathan Both. I'm with Whiting Turner. I represent both the owner and the contractor for the project. We've hired, the design team to execute the design for this project. So I want to thank the panelists for the comments and the staff report that were reviewed at the last DRP review meeting. We've prepared a presentation and a resubmission that we believe addresses all the comments. So we're gonna, as Jen, as you noted, we're gonna concentrate on the salient points of those staff reports. So we've included this here, and I'm gonna let our design team take it over from here. So thank you.
Yeah, hi, this is Duncan Lyons with Gensler, and I did just want to mention that I am not actually seeing your screen. I don't know if anyone else is, or if everyone else is, if it's just me, or if
I see it.
You do?
Yeah, we can see it.
I also cannot see it.
I can see. I cannot. Yeah, I cannot with Bowler.
Okay, one second. Let me. How about now?
I've got a spinning wheel, so maybe it's about to show up here.
Can our panel members see it?
I can see it.
Yes, James can.
I can see it too. I guess maybe just to improvise a little bit.
Yeah,
Emily
I
and
mean,
Duncan.
I can improvise. I could also, I have the same presentation
Yeah.
on my computer, so I could also share my screen if
Uh,
that's allowed. I don't know. I don't want to, you know, depart from any protocols here, but I'm not sure
If you want,
why.
Jen, I can make him a panelist, a presenter.
Um,
I don't
sure. I'd like to
think.
keep this moving, so whatever we need to
Yeah.
do to keep this moving. So I'll stop sharing. And again, you know, if we could just keep this brief, I don't want to
Yeah,
be
of
here.
course. Yep. All right.
Um,
Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. Are you all able to see my
yes, we
screen?
see your screen.
Okay,
Yes.
great. All right, sorry for the delay here. Let me get moving with this. So,
Hey, Duncan, just one
Yeah.
second. I think you're showing the original submission. So we just want to run through the resubmission file.
no, I think this is the resubmission, right? Design panel review resubmission,
Okay.
September 24th.
Got it.
Thank you. Thank you
Sorry
for
about that.
checking, though. You made me anxious for a moment. What we've included in this presentation is just the material that has been updated in response to the comments from the last DRP. So this is not the full presentation that we shared last time. This is really just focusing on the things that have been changed and any of the sheets that have been updated. So I wanted to start with the illustrative site plan. The principal change to this sheet has been in response to the comments from last time. We have moved the multi-purpose building, which is marked with a number 2 on this key plan, further away from Delaney Valley Road. We've moved it east and actually rotated it slightly. So it's moved an average of 6'8" further away from Delaney Valley Road, which does a couple of things for us. It gives us more space for this kind of landscape buffer area between the building and the sidewalk and between the building and Delaney Valley Road. It also registers in a more defined way with the east facade of the headquarters building, which is illustrated with a 1 in this key plan. So now the stone base of the multi-purpose building continues and meets the stone base of the headquarters building. So one of the sort of side comments last time was that, you know, it wasn't clear what the relationship was between those two buildings. So we've really kind of locked that in. And by providing more space here, you can see that we're showing additional landscaping. Many of the comments that we received last time had to do with street trees and street lights. And I think we've clarified in our responses that the actual planted strip along Delaney is outside of the property for this project, and that's subject to Goucher College. Is still subject to Goucher College's ownership. So we believe that they may be intending to install streetlights and street trees there, but even if they don't, we're showing a line of trees that would also are shade trees that would provide shade in this area and additional buffering along that edge. So all of the drawings that also show that location of relative location of the multipurpose building and the headquarters building have been updated. This is the civil site plan that shows that new sort of relationship between the two buildings and the increased dimension between those buildings and Delaney Valley Road. The other thing that this is showing, which I think relates to the second comment from the DRP, was that we have added a stone wall, a screen wall, at the southwest corner of the site that screens the entrance to the loading area and the service area of the building. So this is an 8-foot tall wall, and on the outside of the wall, the landscape is actually bermed up and has significant landscaping materials as well. So we're confident that this will really eliminate any views of that service entry to the building and create a nicer condition visually for this corner of the site. I also wanted to mention that we've taken the entry to the loading dock and moved it 30 feet west. So it was right here at the corner of the building. Now you can see from this curb cut, it's 30 feet further to the west. This is the landscape plan, which also shows where that wall has been added, where we're landscaping and berming in front of it, and where that entrance has moved over from the very end bay of the building to the second bay, moving it 30 feet over. So we believe that those changes will result in a better condition and more screening for that area. And we've also updated the renderings that we showed looking north and looking south on Delaney Valley Road to show that condition. So I can share that also in a moment. One thing that I wanted to just mention is that in moving the multi-purpose building further to the east, we are creating this additional landscape zone here. This is showing the landscape treatment, and we've updated our renderings to also illustrate the proposed landscaping there. And we were able to do that without impacting any of the existing trees within the interior portion of the site. So that was important to Whiting Turner and to the team to try to maintain as many of those existing trees as possible. And so this move to the building was about the most that we felt we could move it without starting to impact any of those existing trees within the site, which will remain and be incorporated into the new landscape design. So those were the third comment was specific to adding more landscaping along Delaney Valley Road, and I think I've already mentioned that. I'll go through the rest of the presentation and show some different sides of this, but that really addresses the three comments. I wanted to point out in this landscape plan, and we've got a subsequent exhibit here. This exhibit shows all of the existing trees which will be remaining on the site and will be saved, and then in gray it shows the trees which need to be removed to make way for the project. And I did just want to mention that we're showing 119 trees to be removed. The landscape plan that I showed a moment ago, this actually shows 188 new trees which will be planted both along Delaney Valley, along Southerly, and then as additional screening around the garage and around some areas of the headquarters.
Mr. Lyons, we're not
Yeah.
seeing different slides if you're not.
Yeah, we're only seeing the rendered landscape plan.
Oh boy. Okay. Let me.
You need to bring up the other ones. We understand what you've said, but I
Yeah.
think.
Are you seeing a different image now?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I was in a different presentation mode. I apologize for that. Okay, I'm not going to repeat everything, but this is showing that wall that I mentioned around the loading area. This is showing the updated landscape plan with the new location of the multipurpose building and the addition of this screen wall around the loading. And you can also see here where the entrance to the loading has moved from the corner of the building 30 feet to the east. And this is also showing the updated landscaping along Delaney Valley Road and the relationship between the two buildings. This drawing, exhibit, as I mentioned, is showing the trees that are existing to remain and the trees that will be removed. And if you take the time to count them, this has 188 new trees. So we're we're adding 20 more trees than we're removing, and many of the trees that we're removing, the ones marked with a blue X here, are trees that are either dead or dying or in poor condition. So there's a net increase in the number of trees on the site. This plan has also just really been updated to show the move to the multi-purpose building and the addition of the screen wall and the move of the service entry to the building. This is showing also areas where we have specialty paving, kind of pathways and trails that run through the grove at the back of the site, and a landscape courtyard between the multi-purpose building and the headquarters building, and between the headquarters building and the garage. And then this plan is showing site lighting and signage. So we are showing the street lights that we will be adding along Southerly Road, but we are not showing the street lights because, again, they're not on the property that we control along Delaney Valley Road. This last site plan, which is showing site furnishings, does show a bench on the southern plaza and bike racks on the southern plaza, which were a couple of the comments that we received from staff for the previous submission. But most of the areas for outdoor seating, benches, cafe seating, and umbrella seating is really focused on the northern part of the site because that's really the major amenity that Whiting Turner staff will be enjoying and using. And so that's where we've placed the majority of site furnishings, but we do have a bench and some bike racks on the southern side of the building at that entry plaza. This is an updated view from the intersection of Southerly and Delaney Valley Road. And you can see it's sort of hard to see, but the screen wall is back there and behind these landscape elements. And as I said, we're proposing to berm up to that wall. The wall is actually 8 feet high, but we're berming up against it, so it doesn't appear to, as on this side, as an 8-foot wall. It will appear more as a 5 or 6 foot high wall with landscaping sort of layered in front of it. And then this is showing those shade trees, and behind them the evergreen trees that are providing screening along the Delaney Valley side of the project. This view of the building is looking south on Delaney Valley Road. So you're seeing the multi-purpose building in the foreground and the west end of the headquarters building beyond that. And again, we've just updated this to better represent the proposed landscape design. So you're seeing these shade trees along the walkway, and then smaller, lower evergreen planting and shrubs and decorative planting behind those along that edge. So this is showing that increased buffer and the landscape treatment that we're proposing for that area. These are the elevations of the headquarters building. And really the only change here is that the entrance to the loading at the left-hand side of the south elevation has moved from the corner of the building over 30 feet. So it's further away from the corner, and has some more space in front of it where that screen wall is located. Again, just showing the primary materials that we're proposing, the Butler stone on the base of the building, which is material that is shared with the Goucher College campus, as well as the glass, metal panel, granite, and wood fascia, aluminum composite wood fascia materials that form these horizontal bands on the building. And then we wanted to also include the elevations of the parking garage. And these elevations have been updated with some sheet notes that reflect corrected reference images over here. I think these were not correctly indicated previously. But what this is showing is that on the primary facades of the building, we're proposing a metal mesh screen, and then glass stair towers at the corners. And we're proposing for the solid portions of the building that you see on the south side facing southerly, at the base, we're proposing to use a board formed concrete that will have kind of a wood grain texture finish to it. So it relates to the sort of wood theme that we have on the other aspects of the building. The plan, this is the only plan that we included, and this is just showing the reconfiguration of the southwest corner of the building, where the loading has been moved off the corner and moved back, and this is showing where that screen wall is located. The 8-foot tall screen wall is located around it so that it screens that area from view from people that are walking or driving on Delaney Valley and Southerly Road. So that concludes the presentation materials and the presentation that we wanted to share today. I would, I guess, open it up to any questions or comments that the panel would like to make.
I think we have a couple steps and then we'll talk, unless there's a urgent question. I think we'll wait till we hear from the community and the staff and then open it up to the panel for further discussion.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate your addressing specific items that were raised, because those were the areas of major focus for us.
Mm-hmm.
So you had mentioned that there was someone from the community who had an interest in speaking. Can we do that at this point?
Yes, I have a Mary Knopp that I'm gonna unmute.
Hi, yeah, I'm the president of the Towson Gate Community Association. And this project looks beautiful. It really does. But our big concern is, of course, traffic and how all of this is going to be managed on Southerly Road. I understand that you're not here to talk about traffic tonight. Can you tell me when that's going to happen? Because I'm not sure I'm at the right meeting for this.
Okay, well, Ms. Knopp, as was read at the beginning of the meeting, regulatory aspects of traffic and traffic design are not the purview of the DRP. The development plan will have to get reviewed by the various county agencies for approval prior to any permits being pulled for the project. So Department of Public Works and Transportation will be doing an analysis of the traffic. And so when that development plan is filed with the county is when that will take place.
Okay, will Bowler help us out with this and let us know when these things are coming up?
That's not really typical. I guess if you want us to keep you in the loop when a development plan gets filed, we can do our best.
That would be good.
To try and make you aware of that.
Yeah, and I guess one other question I have, it has to do with the entrance and exiting for this building and parking garage. Why don't I see a road or an exit going onto the Goucher roadway? They have a light there, and I don't see any road that's actually directing traffic there. It all seems to be directed to Southerly Road, where we don't have a traffic light. Can the designer just answer that?
I'd be happy to answer that if I may. If that's
Please go ahead.
okay. So we have 2 entry and exit points from the parking garage. One is, as you mentioned, from Southerly Road, and it's essentially through this kind of arrival court at the southern end of the building. This is the southern entrance to the headquarters, and the southern entrance to the garage is located right here. The second entry and exit point from the garage is at the north end of the garage on Goucher College Drive, right here.
Okay.
It doesn't go north because we're trying to keep a planted buffer along this edge, but it does come out to Goucher College Road. So from that point, you can go north and take Goucher College Road out to Delaney Valley, or you can go south. It's a little bit longer, but you can go south and connect to Southerly and potentially go make a left turn on Southerly and go to the east or to the west. So there are two ways in and out of the garage.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Thank you very much.
Sure.
That's all I have. Okay?
Thank you. And yeah, you should try and keep posted, because I think a number of these issues, the community wants to know how it proceeds.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, we're now at a point where we'd like to have you all read the staff report. So we get that on the record.
Yes, I'm gonna take over sharing of the screen, Mr.
Sure.
Lyons.
Yep.
Okay. So the design team was furnished with, I presume, a copy of our staff report. And on the re-review, we just had a few points to highlight. With regard to environmental sustainability, we're recommending approval, with the only caveat that we will need the final landscape plan to review, and that can happen at the development phase. So we're not making a condition of recommending a condition of approval. We know there's many steps to do before detailed development plan is prepared. So just as a reminder, that's something that the planning office is going to need to close out the requirements of removal of mature trees in the downtown Towson district. As far as block configuration and site design, the resubmission addresses the previous comments, and therefore we recommend approval of the block configuration and site design. With regard to parking, we are recommending approval of the proposed parking structure. Downtown open space, we are recommending approval, and again, just getting a copy of that final landscape plan as part of the review during the county agency review process. With the building principles architecture, as the building has, the buildings have been slightly redesigned and resubmitted, we are recommending approval of the proposed architecture. With building materials, we recommend approval, as well as the same for lighting and signage. We have no objections to the proposed signage locations. However, once design is complete, we respectfully request review and approval prior to any application of permit. And that concludes our staff report.
Very good. Positive from the last report that we had at our discussion. Well, I mean, it's a good process. We also had a number of narrative comments back from the development team, which addressed these issues, which most of which, or virtually all of which, you heard in the presentation that was made. So now it's time for the panelists to offer their thoughts and suggestions. And we'll start with maybe Mr. Shamra.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. So I have a short comment. So besides, the staff report, I don't have any additional comment.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Walters.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to thank you for addressing our comments from the previous month. I think the new alignment of the building, even though it's slight in its movement, does kind of unify that edge well. And then the berm at the corner also helps address the issue of the loading dock location, as well as moving it into the block, even into the building further east, just a little bit more. So just a thank you from my perspective.
Any other thoughts, or that's?
No, that's it. Sorry, no new comments.
No problem. And Mr. Stevens.
Good evening. I must say that the three buildings that's integrated on that site they look well and designed to me. I can gladly approve them. my only comment is really that was really addressed pertaining to the delivery area, the service area. That has been done quite well, I must say. I really love how the entry now, the access point is more towards the east and not on the corner of that building, and how you incorporated the that 8-foot wall that with the berm in front of it, and it being heavily incorporated with the trees and shrubs and etc. So it's that's done quite well from the building perspective and the landscaping. So I have nothing but good comments on this.
Very good. I had a couple things to say. One is I think that the couple of moves that you made, which appear pretty subtle, I think, with the garage that Mr. Stevens just mentioned, and with turning slightly the multi-purpose building, I think are really successful, even though they're, you know, if you looked at it, I was looking at the old plans against the new plans. And one question I did have about, is there a walkway that goes all the way across the multi-purpose building front? It did not appear there was one previously. Did you extend that walkway?
So there is a walkway that that connects the. We have an egress stair on the west side of the building, and there's a walkway that connects that egress stair and also an exit from the building to the sidewalk on Delaney Valley Road. And there is a walkway that runs around, that runs north, and then runs around the north side of the building. So we don't have a continuous walkway all the way along the west face of the building. We will have a maintenance strip at the building, and then we do have kind of a stone wall, and then in front of it we have another stone wall, and behind that wall there's actually a stair that leads up into the little courtyard area, but we kind of have it tucked behind a wall because it's not really a public entrance, and we don't want people to think that it's a public entrance and start walking up there because it is a private courtyard space. But we have walkways to the north and partially to the west of the two buildings adjacent to those buildings. If that answers your question.
Looking at this drawing, it's not as clear that there isn't a walkway that runs all the way down to the headquarters building, but if there's not, but I think in any case, that slight shifting of the building has aligned those buildings much more successfully. So
Right.
I think you, you know, address that, but I think you realize that that really was a good move to make, even though again, it is subtle, but it makes so much more sense. So again, we appreciate your addressing this as a complex way that you have. If there's no other thoughts from the panel, I would certainly welcome a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the project.
I think it's fine. I would suggest that we approve it consistent with the staff report, which sort of covers a little more complex issues.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the project and with the staff report attached.
Thank you. Is there a second to that? Or any comments to that?
I will second that.
Very good. Calling for the question, if you are in favor of the motion that Mr. Stevens made, please say aye.
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 Is there anyone opposed? Thank you. So I think that concludes our business. I thank everyone for their efforts in this. This is an important project for Towson and for Baltimore. Have this location in such a prominent location, and which will turn out to be a wonderful project. Is there a motion to adjourn? Or you want to keep talking till 9 o'clock?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Thank you again, and good luck on proceeding with this in a timely way.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much for
everybody.
your
Have a
time
lovely evening.
and consideration.
Yeah, thank you to the panel and to the staff.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Have a great evening.